Hi there everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another episode of Should You Pull for Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. This week we're going to be talking about the new story chapter that's going to be coming out, as well as the banner that comes alongside it. And the characters that are going to be on that banner are going to be Paladin Cecil along with his EX weapon, alongside his Final Fantasy IV compatriots Kain and Edge. So in the sea of characters that's going to be coming out in the next couple of months that are going to be meta-worthy, super strong, super powerful, is Paladin Cecil going to be able to stand out from the crowd? If you're interested in finding out, then stay tuned and keep on watching. As always, don't forget to check out all of the social links in the description box below, including my Discord channel where we all chat about all things Opera Omnia and Final Fantasy trading card game and all sorts of other stuff as well, so we'd love to have you join us on there, as well as my Patreon and my Twitch channel if you'd like to check those out as well. Don't forget to check out DissidiaDB.com, an amazing resource for all Opera Omnia players that everyone should have in their bookmarks, and don't forget to check out all of the other content creators for Opera Omnia. There are loads of us, and I'd like to think that we all do a really good job of showing you guys and helping you to navigate your way through the world of gacha. So according to the Japanese version of the game and all the information that we have, the banner is going to contain Edge and Kain alongside Paladin Cecil's EX weapon. So we're going to quickly gloss over those two before we get into the meat of the banner, and unfortunately it's not going to take us an awfully long time to go over these characters, because unfortunately for both Kain and Edge, neither of them are particularly strong characters. Kain had his Lost chapter not too long ago that featured his EX weapon, which gave him a little bit more power, gave him a little bit of extra stuff, like a bit more longevity, like all EX weapons do. But unfortunately, without his EX weapon, he's pretty much just straight bad. Even with his EX weapon, he's only, okay, he's usable. But without it, facing fact, you are not pulling on this banner to pull Kain. And if you are, then unfortunately he just isn't going to do the job for you very well, because all he does is some damage. He has a bit of overflow on his attacks after he gets his awakenings to level 60. He's just a damage dealer, and he's not a particularly strong one at that. So quite frankly, if you're going to grab Kain stuff, you're probably going to end up just converting them to Power Stones. And unfortunately, the same can easily be said of Edge as well. Unfortunately, he just doesn't do anything. He's one of the earliest characters to come out in Opera Omnia, so unfortunately that is what he has going for him. Although some characters got some real love from the early stages of the game, and this is not one of them. He has his 60-60, he doesn't have an EX weapon as of yet. Perhaps when they release one, he'll get some massive buff. But as you can see, his base kit is extremely basic. His evasion up for a turn is, it's useful occasionally, and when you've given him his awakening, it makes it so that both his attacks trigger HP attacks after you use them. It means that he gets an evasion buff for longer, but he hits like a wet noodle, unfortunately. He's just not very powerful, and his weapons don't do a great deal for him. Again, if you're going to be pulling to get FF4 characters, then unfortunately outside of Paladin Cecil, you're just not going to get much out of either of the other two, and if you get their stuff, you're probably just going to convert them to Power Stones. I actually have both of Edge's weapons just off banner. Well, he's 35, I must have pulled alongside something else that I was looking for, and I don't think I've ever used him to this day, and I've been playing the game since day one. However, this banner does have a saving grace, and that is its feature character, which is Paladin Cecil. Now, Paladin Cecil is brand new to the game, so we can have a look at him. He's white crystal based, and his command abilities, one thing that's really nice with Cecil, with the Paladin Cecil, is that he has a lot of longevity if you want him to within a fight. He's going to, take ages to run out of all of his abilities, and that's primarily because while he has his framed buffs active from both of his actual skills, his HP and Brave Attack become Light Slash and Luminous Blast, which are really quite good. So Light Slash, all of his stuff is holy related, which is really nice. So, there aren't many characters that have holy related stuff. So we have Aiko's Smite, we have Kuja's Ring Holy, but other than that, there's not an awful lot of holy related stuff within Opera Omnia. And Paladin Cecil's kit is entirely loaded out with it. Whether that puts you off, because obviously there are going to be a lot of bosses that resist holy, at which point Cecil becomes literally useless, but the stuff that he does get is really cool. So Saint's Fall is a brave attack that grants him the Blazing Sword frame buff, which increases all of his offensive stats and changes his brave attack to have a triple attack with a low action delay, which means his turn will come back around a lot quicker. And then if you have the extend on that, then it also turns into an HP attack if you hit over 80% of your bravery after the last hit goes off, and it also gives more damage to Light Slash and Saint's Fall, and it grants the party bravery before you do it, making him a bit of a brave battery while he's at it. So one thing you'll notice with Paladin Cecil is that he is very much a jack of all trades but master of none. He does a lot of different things within his kit, and it's quite impressive how much he does within just a 2 skill, or 3 if you're lucky, sort of framework to go off of. And then if you have his 15, which I assume we'll get for free over the course of the chapter, raises the potency of Saint's Fall and Light Slash and improves the effects of Blazing Sword. So he'll get a little bit more max brave, a little bit more attack, and a little bit more speed, and it makes it last a bit longer. So that's going to be useful. Holy Flame is a brave HP attack that recovers all parties' HP based on their max HP, which will, and it says 10% here, but it will go up if you have his Extend or his 35 CP weapon. But it grants Divine Shield for 2 turns, which is actually very similar to Beatrix's Saint Cloth, but it's a framed buff, it increases everybody's defense and gives them bravery and HP regen, which is really nice. And it also turns his HP attack into Luminous Blast, while you have Divine Shield active. And Luminous Blast is a 7-hit Holy Brave HP attack, which can be very, very useful just for breaking things and making sure that nothing gets through. And while your defenses are high, it's going to be really difficult to go off of. In fact, because Divine Shield is a framed buff, you could even put him with Beatrix and make it so your defenses are astronomical if you need him to. And then the extension for that, or the level 60 CP passive for that, is going to be it just makes it so that it deals more damage, it makes it so that it can go over the max bravery, so it can overflow by 120%, it gives a little bit more damage to the Luminous Blast as well, and then if you have his 35 CP weapon, it makes it so that it's quicker, it makes it so that it's stronger, it makes the HP limit go up, it makes it so that if your healing exceeds your max HP, it gets converted to bravery instead, which is very useful because moves that heal, you want to be able to do something while you're at max HP. It's just a nice thing to have. And it also improves the effects of Divine Shield and extends its duration. So as I said, in just those 2 moves, we haven't even touched on his EX yet, you have a Brave Battery healer that frame buffs himself and his party, that has HP and bravery regen, increases defense. He just does a little bit of everything. But then obviously we all want to know what the EX weapon does. So looking at the EX weapon, which is going to be Paladin Force, it's a 6-hit brave HP attack that is also holy. The bravery stolen can go over to over 120%, so it's got a bit of overflow, which is nice. It does splash damage to other targets, which is honestly a little disappointing because we've seen quite a few characters now having 100% HP damage across the board, so that would be Kuja, Agrius, Tidus. We've had quite a few characters that do that now, and it's a shame that Paladin Cecil isn't one of them, but it also extends the duration of his current buffs if they're active. Now this extends his longevity to a crazy amount because it means that he's never not going to have access to his better brave and HP attacks, because the recast rate on Paladin Force is really quite quick. It says normal, but if you fully limit break it, the recast rate goes up. So he's going to be able to use this quite frequently, and when it's quite a strong brave HP attack, you're going to hit pretty hard with it. But the thing that I like about this particular weapon most is the second limit break ability, which is inflicts holy resistance down for 4 turns to all enemies after using Paladin Force. So this now makes it so that he has synergies with characters like Kuja and Aiko to make it so that they hit even harder against bosses that are going to be holy weak. But not every boss is going to have that, and some bosses are going to be completely holy resistant, which is an unfortunate thing for Cecil, because when he's the only character on this banner worth pulling for at all, then you have to kind of wonder. We've had characters like that before that are completely reliant around a single element, like Palom is completely revolved around ice. We've had other Fujin being completely revolved around wind. There's quite a few characters like that that just don't tend to get used. I think Paladin Cecil is the best of that bunch, and I think that there is a lot that he has to offer for a team, particularly if you have Kuja EX or you like to use Aiko. But you have to note that he's not going to be useful all of the time. Where he's good, he's really good. And for a new player, he is phenomenal, because he does so much in his small kit that allows him to just be placed in most teams that up until you get to the hardest content is probably not going to ward off holy damage completely. So if you're a new player, then Paladin Cecil is probably going to be quite appealing to you. However, if you're a new player, you also have to get to the point where you get Cecil, where you have to go through the entire story to get up to this new chapter in order to get him. So do bear that in mind if you're a new player and you want to get Paladin Cecil. You do have to finish the story first to actually be able to use him in the first place. One thing I did want to note on with Paladin Cecil as well is that, having looked at the Japanese list of banners that they've had up until this point, this is actually one of the only chances that Paladin Cecil's EX actually turns up from this point for the foreseeable future. There's a lot, obviously. I'm actually going to make a video on how I plan my pulls and what I plan to pull for over the next few months. But, so looking at what we have here, obviously we have Cecil, we have Quistis coming up, we all know this from, and Rosa, we know this from what we have in Global, and it's very important to note that our version could be completely different from JP in terms of, you know, what gets released, what order things get released in, so do not take these as gospel, just use them as a guideline to give you a rough idea of the kind of things you might want to be pulling for. But it's a long time before Paladin Cecil's EX comes back around again. Paladin Cecil's 15 and 35 come back on Vane's banner, which is a banner that I'm very much looking forward to, and is a banner that all of you should be looking forward to as well, because he's extraordinarily good. But going forward, it seems like there's this campaign gacha, which is right here, that will have access to Paladin Cecil's EX and Kain's EX on it. But as far as I can tell, this is the only banner other than the current one that's going to have Paladin Cecil's EX on it. So if you really love Cecil, then now is the time where you want to be getting it. Because even if we do get this particular banner, Kain isn't very good, as I noted earlier, even if you do get his EX. So honestly, I wouldn't worry too much about it. But if you really love Cecil, then now is your best time to be grabbing him. So that's going to be it for this video. Now, in short, do I think that this banner is worth pulling on? In a word, no, not really. If you're a new player, then Paladin Cecil's going to do some really nice things for you. He does a lot of different things within his kit, and he'll slot in nicely to a lot of different teams. So, for example, his Holy Imperil is going to be useful with characters like Kuja and Aiko. His defensive buffs are going to be nice and compounded with somebody like Beatrix or Warrior of Light. He's got lots of little niches. Both of the other characters on his banner are unfortunately just not very good characters, and certainly not worth spending your gems on. And Paladin Cecil, while good, isn't amazing. He isn't absolutely meta-defining. And unfortunately, with the next couple of months, we're getting a lot of characters that definitely fit that bill. Renoa, Golbears I've talked about loads. Sephiroth's EX is coming out, and then he's had his rework in JP, which proves that that weapon has a lot of lasting power. We're also going to get Lena EX very soon, which is a weapon I haven't spoken about very much, but is definitely something on your radar, or it should be if it isn't. Quistis EX is coming, and everyone wants that because of the cheese factory it can provide for a while. There's just so many strong, super strong characters coming out that they kind of shove Paladin Cecil to the wayside a little bit. But if you are a fan of Cecil, then now is probably your best time to pull for him. And who knows, he may get a rework in the near future in JP. And as I've said, there's only one other banner in the future that I can think of that we're going to be able to pull for this weapon on. So if you really want it, then you might as well go for it. I personally won't be pulling on this banner because I don't... As much as I'd like to have the Holy Imperil to go with Kuja, I don't need it. Kuja is already a DPS monster for the time being, and he's going to get power crept by Renoa anyway. So I might as well continue to save my gems for her. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and as I've said before, don't forget to check out all of the social links in the description box below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell for notifications. So thank you very much for watching again, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care!